When someone you love dies, it changes your life forever. It is not something you get over. The loss now becomes a part of who you are. The dishes sit dirty in the sink. My other work goes undone. My friends wait to hear from me. My energy for life is none. I wish that time could stop. I have some catching up to do. I find my mind on other things, remembering and mourning you. In grief there is a reality that no one can prevent. The world moves on without us. It doesn't need our consent. But when I am finally ready to join the world once more, I know that you are with me, just different than before. Sometimes when we're grieving, we can be going along and everything seems to be okay. Then out of nowhere, grief hits full force. These are not setbacks. They are just part of the grieving experience. Some people think that grief is over in a month or even a year. They have no idea that it is a process that can only be experienced one day at a time. Grief is never something you get over. You don't wake up one morning and say, "I've conquered that, now I'm moving on." It's something that walks beside you every day, and if you can learn how to manage it and honor the person that you miss, you can take something that is incredibly sad and have some form of positivity. Although grief never ends, it does change. It is a passage, not a place to stay. Grief is not a sign of weakness, but the price that we all pay for love. Grief visits so very many, but how isolating it can feel when others don't speak of the heartache, of pain that is so real. When grieving hearts are open, willing with others to share, their deepest, darkest sorrow somehow become easier to bear. It is in the sharing of the pain where light and slowly hope enters into the grieving heart, as together we learn to cope. Whether in a group, online chats, or speaking heart to heart, it is in the presence and sharing that gives hope its gentle start. If you don't let it out, the grief becomes a scream trapped inside your soul, a constant cry in the dark, a sob you can never release. So go ahead and scream, shout, cry, the way the sky does with thunder and lightning and rain, for it knows it is being cleansed. It knows that its storm is the only way to release the pain. And once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure, in fact, whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain: when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what this storm's all about. Anyone who has lost a loved one knows that you don't recover. Instead, you learn to incorporate their absence and memories into your life and channel your emotional energy toward others. And eventually, your grief will walk beside you instead of consuming you. The reality is that you will grieve forever. You will not get over the loss of a loved one. You will learn to live with it. You will heal, and you will rebuild yourself around the loss you have suffered. You will be whole again, but you will never be the same. Nor should you be the same, nor would you want to. There is another side of grief, where the tears still flow, not as often, where memories bring smiles, not just sadness, where blessings are recognized, not just struggles, where joy and peace are present, not just sorrow, where you are remembered, not just mourned. Grief reminds me to love more openly, to express more freely, to feel more deeply, and to live more fully. Grief reminds me of all that I have lost and all that I still have, of all that I was and all that I can be. Grief reminds me of the memories we made and the memories still to make, of what has been done and what is left to do. And grief reminds me that love never dies. One day, we will remember how lucky we were to have known their love with wonder, not grief. Dear Lord, thank you for always being there for me. May you help me find a productive activity which honors the memory of my loved one and glorifies you. Show me, please, how to minister to others through their own grief. And Lord, please help me to not make an idol out of my grief and to be consumed by it. Instead, please empower me, Lord, to get through this period. And thank you for my friends and family and for the support they continually provide during this difficult time.